Yeah, we're always struggling to move this conversation from cost to value. I'm not saying that FinOps person or FinOps lead has to be at that table, but maybe FinOps data has to be at that table. So I think FinOps data helps them to make better and smarter decisions.
Welcome to FinOps in Action. I'm your host, Alon Arvatz. Each week, I'll sit down with FinOps experts to explore the toughest challenges between FinOps and engineering. This show is brought to you by Point 5, empowering teams to optimize cloud costs with deep detection and remediation tools that drive action. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of FinOps in Action. You know how much I am intrigued by the careers of FinOps people. And today's guest has a very, very special career path. He actually started as a professional basketball player for 12 years across multiple teams in Spain. Then he was a physical therapist, and somehow from there, he got into cloud and FinOps. He's building FinOps strategy and offerings to companies across Spain and Europe. I'm happy to welcome EMEA FinOps Lead at NTT DATA, Borja Martínez. Borja, how are you today?
Hello, Alan. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm a loyal listener to your podcast, so it's a pleasure for me.
It's always a pleasure and an honor to host someone who is actually a listener to the podcast. So thank you for mentioning that. And Borja, let's get straight to business. You had a long career, but at some point you got into FinOps. I'm curious, what is the one thing you got wrong when you started a FinOps career?
That's a very good question. I would say maybe thinking that FinOps is a one-time effort thing, because at the beginning you always start and focus on optimizing the resources and focus on the technical perspective, and we always forgot that this is about people and culture.
Wow, that's a powerful insight. And basically, FinOps is a big word. So I think a lot of people like to emphasize showing the business value of your cloud investment. I think that is easier to show ongoing value, but there is a certain perception about the optimization that it is a one-time thing. Do you also think that cost optimization is an ongoing effort?
Definitely, yes. I think because the environment is always dynamic. Your cloud environment or technology is always changing, and also this business context or the momentum of the company is also changing. So it's not the same. The value is not the same in some point in time when the company maybe is a startup and it's growing a lot, and 10 years afterwards, maybe the value means other things. So you have to consider everything in the context. I think is very, very important.
And I have to agree, environments are very, very dynamic. I will also add that the cloud provider is also very dynamic. Suddenly Kubernetes came into our lives and completely disrupted everything we knew about FinOps and also cost optimization. And now we have AI on the horizon, which will also create its own challenges. I will also say that also the expertise of the industry is also improving. So the ability to do optimization and deeper optimization, going from just looking for idle resources to going to deeper ones around architecture, around data drifts, around configuration, is also advancing. So when you work with companies around FinOps, do you see that over time companies are becoming more and more advanced when it comes to cost optimization?
Yes, so they definitely become more complicated in terms of cloud architecture and cloud resources and all that. So yes, optimization more and more difficult. It's time and what is very evolving. But still, there are some companies that they are not very mature in cost optimization. So sometimes it's worth it to start with the basics and build trust, which is very important also. And with this low hanging fruit and easy wins, and then move to some more complicated architectural review or efficiency or things like that.
It's actually a good reminder that many companies out there are still in the crawl stage. They're still making their first steps in FinOps, and the basics are still important. Things that look to us very, very trivial are not always trivial, at least not to everyone. And I can also see it, by the way, when I meet with executives who are maybe doesn't have a lot of experience in FinOps. They ask very, very fundamental questions like, hey, isn't it a one-time effort and that's it? And things like that. So obviously, reminding the principles is always important, especially for people who are not FinOps in their day-to-day.
Yeah, we're always struggling to move this conversation from cost to value. And it's also a lot of people that think that it's just reducing cost and that's it, one-time effort, as you mentioned. And we always try to improve our message and some of the value FinOps has apart from the cost reduction.
Great. And I know that you work a lot with companies. And I wonder when you engage now with a company and you want to help them do this transformation from talking about cost to talking about value, is that something you have to do across the board, or you feel like you mostly need to do it with people outside of FinOps, maybe executives, maybe other departments? How do you experience it?
Yeah, maybe with people outside FinOps, I would say it's different if the company has already a FinOps practice in place or a FinOps team. That will be easier. But if they don't have a FinOps team, you have to deal with a lot of different stakeholders, and you have to educate them and to try to them to understand the importance of the context, not just the cost, because most of the times they came to us regarding the cost.
Cool. So what actually brings companies to work with you and re-strategize their whole FinOps program?
Well, one thing I always like to ask our customers when we start talking with them is telling us or giving us some documentation or have a call to better understand the business context and the technology requirements and what is important for the business. And also another thing that I think is very important, how is the company or the organization structured? What role does the technology or IT play in the company? Because sometimes it's just a cost center, and the idea behind IT is different. But sometimes they are very proactive and they add value and they propose things. So the approach is different. And I would say for us as a consultant is very complicated and very challenging, because if I believe, which I really believe, that the context and the strategy is very important for us coming from outside and to go outside from a company to try to understand their strategy, their momentum and everything, it's sometimes it's very difficult. But I think it's worth it to try to approach like this.
Great. So you basically you want to understand the broader business context, and then you also want to understand how they look at cloud cost, because you say it's very different when it's a cost center versus, if I understood you correctly, versus probably usually tech companies who see it as a growth factor. Does that change the way you approach the company, whether it's like a cost center or a growth engine, and how you do FinOps or how you help them strategize FinOps?
Yeah, I think if men see IT or technology as a cost center, I would say the focus is much more educating the people and show them the value FinOps can provide. But if they are a technology company, It's more maybe connecting the cloud spend or the cloud metrics or KPIs to the business, to show them, okay, you are spending, I don't know, 20% more year over year, but your revenue is also growing more than that by 30%. So actually, it's a good thing. You are being efficient. So things like that. Sometimes we lose our perspective and we are focused in the cost. And I think this is very very important.
So, Borja, that's actually fascinating. So, you basically say when the cloud is more of a cost center, you have to work harder to map out what is the value you get out of the cloud. When it's part of your product or a growth engine, then it's a lot more doing like the technical work of, hey, every dollar put in the cloud, how much revenues it produces for me, and show them that if cost grows up, but also revenue grow up, it's fine. This is how it should happen. I am curious if you feel like there is a different approach to cost optimization in these two types of companies.
Yes, maybe what we were talking before, maybe in this second case, which is a technology company more advanced in technology, let's say, uh, probably this low hanging fruit uh, is already approached and is already and they have these savings of these basic things in place. So maybe you have to focus more on efficiency, more technical, to be more specific in around some kind of technology or things like that. But if you are in the first case, which is technology, they see that like cost center. These are the kinds of company that the center is in the business and they want something at the business level, and they tell technology, hey, I need this. Okay, this is your budget. I don't care how you develop this, and because if it's inside the budget, it's okay. So I don't care anything else. So I think it's different approach.
Yes, it's actually a very, very fundamental distinction between two type of companies and two types of FinOps programs. I think it's different incentives, different approach in many, many ways. And actually, when you join a new company as a new FinOps person, one of the first thing you need to understand, okay, is how they look at cloud or technology costs, because that would probably dictate the type of FinOps leader you will need to be.
Yes, sure, absolutely, and also I think the stakeholders involved are also different. Maybe in a technology company, if people are more techy, let's say, and with more knowledge around technology, and the other side maybe are more business people or finance people without context or without knowledge around how technology, how cloud works, and it's different stakeholders with different approach and different strategy.
Cool. And Borja, give us some golden advice. How do I know that I need FinOps strategy services, or how do I know that I need a new FinOps strategy?
That's a very good question. I think it depends on the way you are looking at your cloud cost. If you are reactive, or when you don't have the proper visibility, or you can't connect your cloud spend with your business, or you don't know who is spending what and why. And so basically, if you are focused only in savings and not in the value, definitely you will need a FinOps strategy.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. And I think that it's not only for companies that start their FinOps journey. Sometimes you have to do the next leap, and then you need to challenge your current assumptions. Um, and then I think that an outside look, an outside perspective is a positive thing. It doesn't matter if it's like a company that gives services or a friend who does FinOps for many years by now and can have a look at what you're doing and challenge you. I think every once in a while, it's a very, very positive process to go through.
Yeah, sure. And I also like this thing about bringing FinOps to the executive table or something like that. And I'm not. I wrote an article around this some weeks ago, and
By the way, I read it. It was very good.
okay, thank you. And it's not. So I'm not saying that FinOps, FinOps person or FinOps lead has to be at that table, but maybe FinOps data has to be at that table. So I think FinOps data helps them to make better and smarter decisions. But I also think that this has to start with them, with executive, sharing with us more about the business goals, the strategy, and all of that. And from that, we can provide them better data.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. That's great. And Borja, I know that you're really, really big on community. I see you on every community event. You know everybody on the floor. So I know it's pretty big for you, this whole community thing. Why do you think it's so important?
Yes, you're absolutely right. For me, the FinOps community it's amazing. I can remember when I started in this FinOps journey, I'm connecting with everyone in LinkedIn, and I'm sending cold DMs to people asking about their FinOps journey, and everyone answered. I can say, 99% of the people, they answer, and you can set a call with them to ask what are you want, and then some months later, you see each other in person in a FinOps event at San Diego or London or things like that. Then you catch up again, and you build a relationship, and that you always know that if you need anything, so if you are, in my case, a new client with a new challenge, and I can think and I can remember, I can remember this guy is doing something similar, and I want to ask him how does he approach, and people are always willing to share, and and it's very, very open, really.
I think it's great. I think it's great. And I'm curious if like the fact that you think community is so important is also because you came from outside of technology into FinOps. So I think people that came from technology or IT obviously have a smoother transition, but someone who came from basketball and physical therapy, I would imagine it can be a lot harder. Was the community an important factor in getting you into the FinOps world?
Yeah, sure. I needed something, some source of truth when I can ask my challenges and my questions. And the FinOps community was always there, and always open. So yeah, definitely. In my case, yes. And I think there are, I don't know, a lot of people maybe not, but several people that move to FinOps from another discipline. I know from finance, or from project management, or for products, or different origin, but the same. They need, or we need, the same help.
Absolutely. And Borja, I have a question for you that might catch you by surprise. You were a professional basketball player for 12 years. Is there anything we can learn from basketball to FinOps?
Well, yes, I think so. I really believe that you can apply almost everything you learn or you experience in your life to everything. No, in this case for FinOps, definitely. And this is also a team effort or a team sport, like basketball. And also communication, I think, is very, very important in basketball, specifically, and in FinOps also. So yeah, maybe those two things.
That's great. That's great. That's great advice from a basketball player, which is awesome. And I'm a big fan of basketball, I admit. So I'm pretty jealous right now, I have to say. I'm pretty jealous.
we can play next time we see each other. We can play.
Next FinOps X, I'm gonna get my basketball shoes and jerseys, and we're gonna play 1-on-1, Borja.
Okay, we have to record it.
You play with one hand behind your back, and hopefully we'll have we'll have an equal game.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Borja, thank you so much for all the amazing insights. I, in particular, love the distinction between two different types of companies and how we derive different FinOps strategy and FinOps approach and different FinOps needs. And again, it emphasizes again the importance of tailoring your FinOps strategy and program to the company you're at, and how important it is to understand the business context and also how the organization is looking at cloud and how it benefits from cloud. And I don't want to stop here, Borja, because I obviously want to learn a lot more about you on the personal level. So today you live in Madrid, correct? Which I've never been to, and definitely on my bucket list. Are you originally from Madrid or for Spain in general?
No, I'm from the north of Spain. But I moved to Madrid when I started my studies. Then there was some years that when we played basketball in several cities, and then I established definitely in Madrid. Like 15 years ago, more or less, when I met my wife, and yeah.
Nice. That's always how it works. And for those of us who are not that familiar with Spain, like what's the difference between northern Spain and Madrid?
I would say main different the size of the city, because when I came from, it's a small city, and in a small cities life is different. You can go walking everywhere, and you have to move from one side to another. The city is just 15, 20 minutes walking, and that's it. And here in Madrid, everything is bigger. And also, I think people is also different. Yeah, when I came to Madrid, people are very, very open and very kind, very warm with people. There are a lot of people from outside Madrid living here, so they are very used to deal with different people, different cultures, and different countries.
Nice. I am fascinated by cultures, by the way, and more specifically, how culture changes within the same country. That's always very, very surprising, but that's the reality. By the way, even in a small country like Israel, you can find pretty significant differences across different regions. So that's cool.
That's true. In 500 kilometers distance, it's a big difference, and very different life and people. And
okay, very cool. And Borja, any book or movie you'd like to recommend to us?
Book, yes. No movie. I don't like at all movies.
You don't like movies? Oh my god!
They require too much too long attention for me. I need to do different things in a short time. And a book, I would say, Shoe Dog. It is from the creator of Nike, Phil Knight. And I really love this book. There is a sentence at that book, which is life is growth. You grow or you die. And I am feeling represented in that sentence.
Okay, very cool. You heard him, Shoe Dog. Go look it up. It's actually very fascinating because over time we've got a lot of recommendations about the biographies of people who built companies. I think there was someone recommend about Ford, and I think we had maybe McDonald's at some point, I think. So it's becoming a theme. Maybe I should get to it.
Yeah.
Great. And anything you like to do for fun?
Well, I like watching basketball. I don't play now at all, but I like watching basketball. And I have 3 kids, So my time is for them. Yeah, and they will go out with friends also, and yeah.
Nice. What basketball? NBA, EuroLeague, the Spanish league?
More Spanish or even yeah, more than me. Yeah.
Okay, I told you, a big basketball fan, and I definitely also follow NBA and EuroLeague. Honestly, Israel League a bit less,
Yeah.
because honestly, it's a bit less interesting. But I love to see basketball, and I'm also very happy to see that there is an Israeli NBA player right now who is actually a candidate for the All Stars. So that's really exciting for me personally. Cool. So, Borja, thank you for sharing all of that. It was incredible. I'm sure people would love to reach out and ask questions. What is the best way to reach out to you?
I think LinkedIn is the best place to connect. I think I use it a lot to connect with people, also to read some nice articles and to learn some things, but to connect, definitely is the best place.
Great. You heard him. Hit him on LinkedIn and hit him hard. Borja, thank you again for everything. I was again really fascinated by all the insights, particularly how you do the profiling of companies and how you approach now a strategy process with organizations. It's actually pretty interesting. And again, it's not only relevant for someone who's looking for services. I think it's relevant for anyone who want to re-strategize his FinOps program. So you already gave him some initial tools to work with. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Aaron, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. And thank you for being a loyal listener, Borja. And I will also thank all the listeners who many of them are very much loyal as well. Thank you for joining us again. I'm sure you had a blast and learned a lot. Please tell your friends about FinOps in Action. You want to get more people engaged, more people involved. Borja, thank you again. This will be another fascinating, fun episode of FinOps in Action. See you all next time. That wraps up another episode of FinOps in Action. Thank you for joining. For show notes and more, please visit finopsinaction.com. This show is brought to you by Point5, empowering teams to optimize cloud costs with tip detection and remediation tools that drive action.